Now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.
22 years, he has terrorized this town. Tonight, it ends.
We need to stop this mother.
We need a plan of attack.
We have to get these people out of town.
How can he still be alive?
This is Officer Williams. Our night isn't over yet.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios Channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade J.J. Williams, and today we're going to pick up with the second chapter of the Thorn Trilogy, and I'm going to discuss Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, starring Donald Pleasance, Danielle Harris, Ellie Cornell, Bo Starr, Jeffrey Landman, Wendy Kaplan, Tamara Glenn, Troy Evans, and Don Shanks. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And as I said in the introduction, today we're going to take a look at the second chapter of the Thorn Trilogy, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. And our movie opens on October 31st, 1988, when Michael Myers is shot and falls down a salt mine shaft. Sheriff Ben Meeker, the lynch mob of Haddonfield's truckers, and state police decide to toss down some dynamite in order to finish Michael off. Escaping into a nearby creek before the dynamite explodes, Michael stumbles upon an elderly hermit who nurses him back to health after he falls into a coma. 1 year later, on October 30th, 1989, Michael awakens, stabs the hermit to death with his knife, and returns to Haddonfield to try to find his niece, Jamie Lloyd, once again, who had narrowly avoided being killed by him the year prior. Now, Jamie has been admitted to the Haddonfield Children's Clinic after having attacked her foster mother. Jamie has been rendered mute due to psychological trauma, suffering from nightmares and seizures, and exhibits signs of a telepathic link with her uncle, Michael Myers. Dr. Sam Loomis becomes aware of Jamie's psychic link with Michael and tries to convince Sheriff Meeker that Michael is still alive. Meanwhile, Michael stabs Jamie's foster sister, Rachel, to death and begins to stalk their friend, Tina. Michael kills Tina's boyfriend, Mike, and then poses as him by wearing a mask that Tina had given to Mike earlier that day. Later on that night, Tina and her friends, Sam and Spitz, go to a Halloween party at a farm. Sensing that Tina's in danger, Jamie, having gained part of her ability to speak back, goes to warn her. While Sam and Spitz are having sex in the barn, Michael appears, impales Spitz with a pitchfork, and then decapitates Sam with a scythe. Tina finds the bodies and goes to warn the nearby police deputies, but finds that Michael has already killed them. Tina flees, but Jamie and her friend, Billy Hill, arrive. Michael begins chasing Jamie in a car, but crashes into a tree. Michael exits the car, and Tina sacrifices herself in order to allow Jamie and Billy the time needed to escape. Loomis arrives, and Jamie finally agrees to help him try to stop Michael for good. With Jamie's help, Loomis and Meeker create a setup at the old Myers house in order to lure him back to his abandoned childhood home. Suddenly, the police receive a call saying that Michael has broken into the clinic, which prompts Meeker and most of the officers to leave. However, this call is merely a diversion. Michael appears and kills the trooper sitting in the patrol car outside before entering into the house. Loomis tries to reason with Michael, but Michael instead slashes him and throws him over the stair banister. Michael then kills Deputy Block, who is protecting Jamie before chasing her throughout the house. Jamie hides in a laundry chute, but is forced to abandon it when Michael stabs and injures her. Fleeing upstairs, Jamie finds the bodies of Max the dog, Rachel, and Mike in the attic. Michael then finds Jamie and attempts to kill her, but stops when Jamie addresses him as Uncle. Michael then even removes his mask, showing a little sign of sympathy. When Jamie touches his face, Michael goes off in a fit of rage and chases her once again. Jamie heads down the stairs and finds Loomis, and Loomis uses Jamie to try and lure Michael into a trap, shooting him with a tranquilizer gun and dropping a steel net onto him. He beats the trapped and drugged Michael unconscious with a wooden plank until he eventually suffers from a stroke and collapses on top of Michael. Meeker and the rest of the police return shortly thereafter, and Michael is taken into custody. One of the officers goes to bring Jamie home when all of a sudden a mysterious man in black, who has been searching for Michael, arrives and causes an explosion at the police station. The officer, hearing gunfire, rushes back inside after warning Jamie to stay with the car. When the officer doesn't return, Jamie goes back inside to investigate and finds the station destroyed from the explosion and Meeker and several of his men dead. Jamie then discovers that Michael's cell is empty and the back door of the police station broken open, causing her to break down in tears as she realizes that Michael is free once again to continue terrorizing Haddonfield, and our movie comes to its end. I also enjoyed Halloween 5. Was it as good as Halloween 4? No. A lot of times the second act in the trilogy really can fluctuate. You've got your Empire Strikes Backs, and then you've got your Iron Man 2s. I mean, a lot of times the original is so good that they steadily become worse and worse as the series goes on. I wouldn't call this worse, but definitely not as good as The Return of Michael Myers. Again, much like in Halloween 2, we had our heroine, Jamie Lloyd. She was mute for most of the movie, whereas in Halloween 2, Laurie's in the hospital for most of the movie. It's not until really we start to get to the third act that our two heroines become a lot more involved. The first two acts, they're there, but are they really there? It's kind of one of those things. And I thought it was interesting that they kind of channeled that in this. Again, I thought Danielle Harris did a good job. I enjoyed Donald Pleasance. I enjoyed the gentleman who played Michael. I thought the little show of sensitivity on Michael's behalf was a nice little touch. It showed that there was, albeit very, very slight and minuscule, a little bit of human nature inside of his heart. When Jamie addresses him as uncle and asks him to take the mask off, kind of like Darth Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi, telling Luke to take off the mask so that just once he can lay his own eyes on his son. Jamie asking Michael, take the mask off so I can see what you look like, so I can see my uncle. And he does. And you've got that brief moment, and then you see a tear in Michael's eye. And Jamie goes to try to wipe the tear. And that's when Michael snaps and goes into the rage, because he realizes in that instance that he's made himself vulnerable. And he snaps. And it's a side of Michael you never see again. But that brief little moment, I enjoyed the shit out of that. I'm curious to know what you guys think of The Revenge of Michael Myers. When it comes to my rating for it, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. I gave Return 3.5. I said it wasn't as good, so I got to bring it down at least a half star. 3 stars out of 5 for The Revenge of Michael Myers. What did you guys think of it? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. But let's have that conversation. Let's have that discussion, that interaction, that debate in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in at the top of the half hour, because we are most definitely not done yet today here on Renegades Reviews. Coming up next, The Curse of Bridge Hollow for new release Saturday, starring Marlon Wayans, Priya Ferguson, Kelly Rowland, John Michael Higgins, Lauren Lapkus, Rob Riggle, Nia Vardalos, Holly J. Barrett, and Miles Vincent Perez. And then at the top of the hour, WWE NXT Halloween Havoc, beginning at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern. Myself, the Simple Man Noah Foster, James Hebert, possibly Jeff Meacham, providing our commentary and live reactions to NXT's Halloween Havoc, which will be broadcast right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media. And then immediately following NXT Halloween Havoc, another edition of Open Mic Night. Again, myself, James Hebert, Noah Foster, going to be discussing the week in professional wrestling. Who knows who else may join us at the microphone this week? You never know until you tune in. And then it doesn't end there, folks. Tomorrow on the Casa D18 Studios channel, it'll be time to once again step into the war zone. That's right, another edition of the Weekly Acquisition Report where I show you, the viewer, the newest additions to my ever-growing movie library. And then following that, at the top of the half hour, will be another edition of Renegades Reviews where I close out the Thorn Trilogy with Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, the unrated producer's cut, starring Donald Pleasance, Paul Rudd, Marianne Hagen, Mitch Ryan, Devin Gardner, J.C. Brandy, and George P. Wilbur. You're not going to want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, right here on Renegades Reviews, right here on the War Zone, and on the Jeff Meacham Network and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, NXT Halloween Havoc, Open Mic Night, etc. So much good stuff in store for you tomorrow as well as today. Make sure you tune in and join us. To all my loyal fans and viewers that tuned in and watched today, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you're alerted anytime a video goes live right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we decide to live stream, as is the case with Open Mic Night, Statboy Sports Bar, pay-per-view PLE coverage, etc. Make sure you share this video with your family, friends, loved ones, co-workers, movie fanatics, cinephiles, John Carpenter fanatics, Halloween fanatics, Donald Pleasance fanatics, Danielle Harris fanatics, anybody that you can think of that would enjoy this video and this content, share the video with them. It's the only way we're going to boost up my visibility in YouTube's algorithms so I can eventually get monetized, make some money on this endeavor. Thank you once again to everybody who joined me and tuned in today. It means more to me than you'll ever know. And I will see you guys next time.